Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am bringing you another episode of Finishing the Series. In this episode, I will be talking about two books. I will be talking about my thoughts on the fifth book in the Stacy Justice mystery series called Obsidian Curse by Barbra and Annino, as well as the third book in the year-round Christmas mystery series by Vicky Delaney. As a reminder, all of the videos in my Finishing the Series collection may contain spoilers, so just know that going in. If you are interested in my thoughts about these two books without the spoilery content or possible spoilery content, you can always check out my written thoughts on Goodreads or my blog. I will link both of them down in the description box below, so feel free to check those out in case you are interested in these series. Navigational links to each book is also listed down in the description box below for ease of navigation. Before I start, you will notice that I am in a different recording location. I am currently working from home, so I do not have the luxury of my office space. So I am also without my lighting and things like that. I hope you don't mind this new setup, but this is the best I could do. I don't usually film at home, and so yeah. Also, because I am filming at home, I have no control over any ambient sounds you may hear. Both of my neighbors do have dogs that kind of reside outside of their houses, and because the weather has been a little bit wet and rainy, the dogs have been whimpering on and off all day. And so if you hear that, I apologize, but I do have my microphone on, so hopefully it will kind of cancel out any of those extra sounds that you may hear. So let's get into the two books. I will start off with Obsidian Curse. As I mentioned, this is the fifth book in the Stacy Justice mystery series by Barbra and Annino. I have been reading through this series recently. I am listening to this for the most part through Kindle Unlimited, and when I borrow them from Kindle Unlimited, they come with an ebook copy as well as the audiobook copy. And even though I do have access to the ebook, I don't normally read it. I have been enjoying the narration of this series. If you have listened to any of my other thoughts on these books, I did have a little bit of an issue with the narrator earlier on in the series, but I do believe she has grown into this series nicely, and I am really enjoying her narration now. I also read this for March Mystery Madness because it is the fifth book in a series, and our theme this year was the number 5 because it was our 5th anniversary. So this one fit in nicely with the prompt for our month-long reading challenge. So, in this particular installment, Stacy is dealing with the repercussions of some of the things her aunt did in the prior installment, which was Emerald Isle. Some of the things that they had done caused a succubus to appear in town, so Stacy needs to kind of vanquish the succubus. And I was kind of let down by this installment, to be honest. I really enjoyed Emerald Isle. It was everything that I was looking for in this series. As I had mentioned before, this is a witchy mystery, so I was expecting a little bit more supernatural elements, and the 4th installment of this series really gave me that. But now that we're not in Ireland anymore, we're back in her hometown, things are kind of back to where they were prior to the 4th installment. Though we are dealing with a succubus in this one, it still didn't give me the same satisfaction as the 4th book did in regards to supernatural or witchy content. Especially because in this one, she's not only dealing with the succubus, but there is a kind of school reunion, I guess you'd call it. Her town is relatively small, so they have an all-year alumni reunion instead of just a reunion per class. So one of the alumni from her school ended up being a best-selling author, and he comes into town for the reunion, but also to ask for Stacy's help in investigating his parents' murder years ago. So she's also dealing with some real life sleuthing. And so while that was a more interesting case than the cases that she had been investigating before, to me, I was still let down by this installment. I kind of felt like I was passively reading through it. I didn't really connect with what was going on in the story. Even though I've been with these characters for 5 books now, or even 4 books prior to when I started reading this, I just couldn't really connect to anybody. I felt like I wasn't immersed, I guess you could say. So yeah, I was kind of let down by this one, but it does progress things that are happening within her immediate family. Her cousin is pregnant. We do find out some things about that, and there's something going on with her mom, who she reconnected with in the 4th book. I do have to say that one thing that this series does well is that at the end of each book, or close to the end, it does kind of let you in on something and leave you on a small cliffhanger. So it makes you really want to pick up the next one, but I was still disappointed with my reading experience for this one. Nevertheless, I am 1 book closer to the end of this series, so that's exciting, because that means that I will be finishing a series this year. So that's the goal of this kind of project that I have set up for myself. So that's really good. So let's get on into my thoughts on the 3rd book in the year-round Christmas mystery series, called Hark, the Herald Angels Slay. Like I said, this is the 3rd book in the year-round Christmas mystery series, and in this one we are in a town called Rudolph, Maine, where they are very Christmas themed. This was a Book 1 Cozy's Club bonus pick for the month of December in 2019. Book 1 Cozy's Club is a first in a series cozy mystery book club that I run in the Mystery Madness Goodreads group. Link down in the description box below in case you're interested. But we mostly focus on first books in cozy mystery series. And a couple years ago, during my first year having the book club, I decided that I wanted to read a Christmas mystery. Now, finding a first in a series Christmas mystery is harder than you'd think, especially with cozy mysteries, because I do find that most of the time the Christmas installment is book 5 or further in the series. So because we do focus on first in the series reads, finding a Christmas one was a bit difficult, but I did find this one. So we read the first one in Christmas 2017, and I really enjoyed it. So in Christmas 2018, I decided to go ahead and read the second one as a bonus selection, because we also had another read as our first book selection. And so 2019 brought the 3rd book as our bonus, and I do have to say that I really enjoy this one. As I mentioned, I was supposed to read it during Christmas in 2019, but I was just not in a great headspace, I guess you could say, during Christmas. I did read 2 other Christmas cozies in December, and I do have to say that I don't think I enjoyed them as much as I would have had I been in a better headspace. I really wasn't feeling the Christmas spirit. It wasn't feeling like Christmas to me at all, and I do believe that hindered my enjoyment of a lot of things during the season, unfortunately. So because I know that I really enjoy this series, or at least I had up until this point, I didn't want to hinder my reading experience by picking this up when I knew that I might not enjoy it as much than if I waited a little bit and read it later. So that's what I did. I also read this one for March Mystery Madness. This features a wooden deck, and because wood is the typical 5th anniversary gift, that's what I had used for that prompt. And this was actually the very last book that I finished in March, so that was really great as well. To my surprise, this book actually takes place during July. They are doing a Christmas in July event, and so because I had ended up reading it after Christmas, it was actually really perfect. In this particular installment, Mary is visited by her ex-fiance, who has come to town to do a spread in the magazine that she used to work for, that he still works for, about the Christmas in July festivities. And Mary also kind of helps out with being Mrs. Claus during any festivities that they have in the town. So during the Christmas in July parade, or right beforehand, she realizes that she had left her bag of treats for the kids that she had intended to pass out during the parade at her shop. She has a little trinket shop that I can't remember the name, Mrs. Claus's Treasures, and she specializes in kind of spotlighting the local artists. And so she goes back to her shop expecting to find her employee that she had scheduled to work that day. Not only does she not find the employee that is scheduled to work that day, the shop is open and the dead body of her ex-fiance is lying in her shop. So the story kind of follows Mary trying to figure out, one, where her employee is, what happened to her, and who killed her ex-fiance. I did really enjoy this installment. I am glad that I put off reading it because I do believe that I enjoyed it as much as I expected to, being that I had read it when I was in a better headspace. Also because this is a Christmas in July type of setting, because I was reading it after Christmas, I didn't feel like I was reading something in the holiday spirit outside of the holiday. So yeah, it definitely brought me a little bit more of that holiday enjoyment, that a little bit of that feeling, I guess, that you would expect during a Christmas in July type setting. But I do enjoy Mary's investigative style. I do enjoy her relationship with her parents. Her best friend runs one of the bakeries that are in town, and their friendship is really great. She has been going back and forth about her feelings about one of the guys in town in the previous installments, and she does finally make a decision about her feelings towards him in this installment. So that was great to see. And overall, I just really enjoyed this one. I do have to say though that before she even gets to the point where the whole Christmas in July parade is happening, we do see her as her like shop owner. So we do see her interactions with her employees and her running her shop, and maybe some like tourists that come in to purchase things. But throughout the series and into this book, her employee, one of her employees, her name is Jackie, really, really gets on my nerves. The way that she talks to Mary like she deserves certain things is just disrespectful. If I were Mary, I probably would have fired her a long time ago. She doesn't do as she's told. She's constantly talking back. And Mary does have a little bit of a conversation in her head about the way that Jackie like talks back and acts during her employment, and kind of explains why she keeps her on there. But I don't think that, for me, if I were Mary, I would have put up with that attitude for as long as Mary has. But really, that's kind of the only thing that I don't enjoy about this series. She does have a shop neighbor, the lady who runs the shop that's right next to Mrs. Claus's Treasures, who's pretty nosy. Not only nosy, but kind of mean, I guess. I don't know. The way she talks to Mary is not very nice, especially when she's trying to get information that would be beneficial to her, like when the murder happens and the police come in, investigate and everything. And she kind of threatens Mary, saying that she's going to like tell everybody that, you know, there was a dead body found in her shop, to kind of get more people to stop shopping at Mrs. Claus's Treasures and shop in her store instead. And that I dislike, but she doesn't show up very much, I would say, in the story. Also, Mary's across the street neighbor is like the town gossip. So she's constantly like looking out the window and trying to see when Mary is coming home, so she can kind of ambush her, I guess, to try to question her for information and stuff. And Mary handles her very well, I would have to say. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading the 4th installment in this series in December. So if you are interested in reading a cozy mystery series that's set mostly during Christmas time, or at least during Christmas festivities, definitely check this one out. I really enjoy it. And read through the first 3 volumes and join us for the 4th installment in December 2020. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say on these 2 books. March Mystery Madness was great this year, as it usually is. I was very happy with the amount of books that I read, and even though I didn't finish 5 prompts, I did end up finishing 6 books. So look out for my March Mystery Madness wrap-up coming soon. And yeah, let me know if you've read either of these series and what you think of it, or if you will be reading through the first 3 volumes of the Year-Round Christmas Mystery series and joining us for the 4th one in December. All of the links are down in the description box below. I hope you're all doing great, staying safe, and being healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.